Hello and welcome back to my channel, and we rejoin our characters in the Green Dragon Inn. They have just finished the interaction with some what we're calling Party B, and they've ascertained from Party B that they've not had a very successful after meeting them and with our party imparting some information about the dungeon and how to navigate it. They hadn't really had a very successful venture afterwards, and we discerned an element of dissension within the party. Now, hoping to capitalize on that, we maybe we were a bit clumsy in our approach to Adelind, who was the female magic user in the party, and we might have come across as being a bit arrogant and forward, and saying, "Why not join us? You're obviously having a bad time with your party," and that has not gone down too well. So, what the party have decided to do is think of an alternative strategy, and that was to basically stay in the Green Dragon and impress the rest of the guests with the fact that they had vital information about this Lost Palace of Dunmorna. Alternatively to that, towards the end of the evening, Lindra said, "Well, why don't we go back to the dungeon ourselves?" Now, this means that we're ahead of the game, and we've got a competing group of adventurers, and we don't want them getting back in there before us. Also, we might be able to find something that's impressive, boosts our reputation. We can take back and say, look at what we've done. We've achieved this. Why not come join us in further ventures? At least it will give us far more good PR for us to use in potential recruitment. So the party, at the end of the evening, they agree to do that. Dagobert says, "Right, okay, so what we need to do is we need to tell Fredegard to get us to get us up early. We'll have a light breakfast. We'll do a full inventory check, and then we'll head off, weather permitting, to the dungeon, and see whether we can actually strike gold. We need a rich seam of treasure to kind of give us a bit of ballast and comfort to pursue and continue on with our mission." So the characters, buoyed with that enthusiastic endorsement from Dagobert, decide to head off to bed. They're woken early the next morning, around about 5:30. They have a light breakfast. They do an overall inventory check, looking at their equipment. They do have some that they've left in the dungeon, which is these items here. The flasks of oil, their spears, they've still got their sacks and their spikes, and as far as I'm aware, they've got more or less everything that they had already. They've still got all their weapons. They haven't used any arrows yet. All their helmets and leather and armor's still intact. They haven't really utilized any of these. They've got the lantern. They've got plenty of oil still left in their lantern. On the spellbook side, I think Lindris is going to memorize Hold Portal because he probably thinks that's the most useful spell to have. And Dagobert will continue with his Cure Light Wounds. So they've done the full inventory check. They're quite happy. They've got everything ready. They quickly say goodbye to Fredegar, wish him farewell. He says, "Best of luck, young masters. Hope you have a good day." They head off to the gates, across the square in Marchton. Get my little diagram. They head out the Green Dragon Inn, cross the market square. They speak to the gatekeeper. He says, "Any idea what time you're going to be back tonight?" They say, "We're probably going to try and aim for the same as what we did yesterday. Try and get back about before nightfall." He says, well, I'll alert the afternoon watch that to expect you. Best of luck, and enjoy your day. They say, thank you very much, and head off down the military road. They know the way now, so they head on down the military road, take a turning into the gentle hills, about a mile or so down that road. They head through these hills, which are quite pleasant, but there's an increasing sense of foreboding as they reach these hexes here, which is Dunmorna, and the rising steam and the smell of sulphur, and just the sense of trepidation, and their anxiety levels start to rise. They're all looking at each other, thinking, "Are we pushing our luck this time?" And they think, "Well, we are adventurous. We are resilient. It's not taken them very long to bounce back from yesterday's terrors." And that's the good thing about adventurers. They are mentally, they're very strong as well as physically. So they're ready. They girdle their girdles and head on in down the crevasse towards the lost palace, past the fallen pillar. While they are doing this, they think, I wonder if we should, as an entrance to this dungeon, why don't we try out this sinkhole that was discovered by Party B? So Party B is part of their our encounter with them, and to legitimize how we actually met them, I came up with this idea of having a tower that projected above the palace, but had been, like the rest of the palace, had been covered over by the lava flow. And what had happened in recent years is that a sinkhole had developed and had uncovered the top of the tower. And in the tower, there were a set of stairs that went down that joined a further set of stairs that led down into the actual complex. So the party are quite keen to, they realise that this could be another means of entrance and exit from the dungeon. And it could avoid all the kind of rigmarole of moving through lots and lots of rooms and get straight into where they want to be, which is when, from the Lindres' map, they really want to try and explore some of this area here. Maybe go down this corridor, or try this. That's the type of thing that they're kind of interested in. So they decide, unanimously, to go and try and explore and scout out this sinkhole, and use that means of entrance to penetrate into the dungeon. So they go past their current point where they throw their rope down, and they get to the sinkhole, the edge of the sinkhole. Now the way to maybe explain how this works is if you say you've got the surface of the crevasse, which is this kind of volcanic overflow, and then the sinkhole has appeared, and it leads down, and it terminates at the top of this old tower. So there's almost like the tower there, with the flagstones and stuff like that. And in the tower, there is a kind of a set of stairs leading down, and this goes in a kind of circular manner until it reaches south, and it points south, and then it goes down a further 30 feet. So this is 30 feet. This staircase here is 30 feet, and this is 30 feet. So in total, we've got down to the base. That's the base of the crevasse, and that's the amount of stairs we have to get down to level 1. So that is equivalent. This staircase here is equivalent to that staircase and gets you down to the same level. and then you have the 30-foot circular staircase up to the top of the tower, and then another 30 that's the actual lava, where the sinkhole has kind of uncovered this tower that we can utilize. So they don't really think that's a very difficult obstacle to circumvent. And Tristan, he does the business really there. He makes sure that they're all got like they've got the ropes around them, and they're all kind of, you know, certainly for that bit of the sinkhole, they get down to the top of the tower. They've got to be careful because some of the masonry is a bit loose. When they get onto the staircase, the circular staircase going down, again, that's quite difficult to deal with. Some of the actual the flagstones and some of the things are a bit loose. It's dark. You know, Dagobert has to get his lantern out to make sure that they can all see. They get down to this level here. They see a discernible staircase, and it starts to become a bit more familiar now. And then they re-enter the palace through this where the original party B had discovered them. And this room 11 from memory, if we get to our key, room 11 was the empty 20 by 30, and that's where we've met the characters, and it had a passage as our exit. So that's the passage that we were talking about. Now we know that when it comes to the actual doors itself, we came through one of these doors, and they both come into this room. So the party takes stock of the situation. They kind of get themselves ready for action. They prepare their weapons. We have to get our what I have forgotten. I've forgotten to do the weather. That could be quite important. Let me just go back and do the weather quick. I'm sorry. I do apologize. I should have. I was too busy getting down that military road. But let's do a quick weather check. This could. The only thing it's going to do is maybe just give a bit more atmosphere, because it's not really going to stop us getting to this location. We have to do a D6. Let's do it quickly. 3. Oh, so it is strong winds. So strong winds. Do they do? I think all they do is they clear fog and whatever. So we've got strong winds today. Okay, so it's not really that much of a change. So strong winds adds a bit more atmosphere. It's when we're going across the actual Dunmorna area. It's blowing all this kind of sulfurous smoke and whatever, and it's really going into our face and whatever, and it's probably quite unpleasant. So we're quite happy to get shelter in underground for the time being, a bit of respite. Okay, and also I'll just do the just make sure that we do the march to the Rough Hex. That's 5 miles. And that takes 2 hours. We leave at 7. So that goes to 9 o'clock. Palace. Takes about another half hour to get across the actual, to move up the side of the crevasse. So that is going to be 9:30. So we enter down here about 9:30. I would say that that's going to take maybe about a couple of turns to navigate our way down there. So if we do our time reckoning again, and so exploration phase, and we start our clock at 9:30, and we have our turn check. So this is our first hour, and we do a turn, 2 turns, so that's taking 20 minutes to navigate down the sinkhole and get down these stairs and then back into our room where we originally met the characters. So we're ready to go, just apart from the omission of the strong winds outside, but there you go. Okay, so we consult our map and think, I wonder what strategy would be the best. We've got two strong options, maybe three strong options, but probably two are strongest. This looks promising. However, it's going to be there's limited, unless it leads to maybe stairs going further down. This we're not really sure. It's kind of limited to what size. So it could be a very small room. Maybe there's treasure in there. Who knows? This looks like a good chance. Or maybe this one, which leads further into the dungeon. So if it goes off at right angles, say it takes 45 degrees to the right, it's going to go up southwards into the actual mountain. Okay. I think Dagobert is quite keen to try this one in the octagonal room. So what they do is they decide to open this door, go back through. This was the one. Do a quick recap of what these rooms are. 10 was the fire beetle room, so it's got what remains of the fire beetles, excluding their glands, their glowing glands, which have gone. They go back into this room here, room 9, which was an empty room. There was a slight corridor going into this door that led into the octagonal room. And in the octagonal room, remember, on the floor, we had a bent copper coin. There was a masher. Now, I should have realised this, because in World War II and World War I, the German army used what they termed the potato masher, which was basically a stick grenade. So it was like a stick that had, just get my piece of paper. It was like, it had this head and then a stick there, and the soldier would throw it. The Allied grenade was like this. It was that thing, like a grapefruit type thing with a pin at the top, and you pull that out. But this thing, they must have had some sort of fuse or whatever. They would throw the stick, and they called that the potato masher, because it was basically a potato, like a potato masher. And so I'm assuming that the masher that we're talking about is something similar to that. Now, we haven't actually found a use for the masher yet, but we did kind of think, oh my goodness, it could be used for some terrible torture, because the other thing was we had a barrel of oil which was thrown up on the torture sub-table when we were doing the dungeon dressing. So maybe there's some terrible combo that's being done torture-wise in the octagonal room. The fact that it's an octagonal room has got a kind of bit of a supernatural feel to it anyhow. Okay, so we go back in here. Time-wise, we haven't really spent too much doing that. I would say that, remember, we can move fast because we've mapped all this out. So that's not really going to take any time to get back in here. So we brace ourselves into our position for entrance into that room. So we don't have a yellow character. We have Tristan. We'll have Tristan in the middle, Dagobert on one side, and Lindris there. And on the actual D6s that we're going to use to represent, we'll have Dagobert in white, Tristan in red, and Lindris in black. Now, they do have the option they could listen to that, and they are, I think what they want to do is maybe just proceed ahead. No, they're in kind of two minds about that. I think Dagobert overrules them and said, look, I think we should we have proceeded with caution before, and it's paid dividends, because we have not been well, I say we haven't been surprised. We have been surprised, but I think is going to be the correct tactic is not to charge through this dungeon. We're going to have a limited delve here, and that's what's given us our successes so far. We've not bitten off more than we can chew, really. So let's see whether we can hear anything here. 1 and 12, nothing. So they do hear nothing. Okay, so let's see what we can ascertain. We do the behind the door table in the Dungeon Master's Guide. What's behind the door? Okay. So we roll a d20, and I got a d20 for my birthday of my wife, which is very nice of her. I haven't had a d20 for a long time, so here we go. The inaugural roll of the d20, see what it is, an 8. The d20 does an 8. Passage straight ahead. Okay. Now, do we do the passage width? We'll do that on we'll do a d20 on that, and we get a 5. So it's a 10-foot passage straight ahead. So we get our Lindris gets his little measuring thing out. He does a passage down here and down here. Now we've got a wee bit of a problem when it comes to geometrics here, because we've got a bit of an imbalance just because of the size of some of these rooms. So I think I'll just do, just to keep integrity, I'll do a little corrective, bit like this porch that we've got here. I'll do a little corrective here. I'll not include that in, and almost say that's like a porch. And just to keep it consistent with the rest of the dungeon. I don't think that would be too much of an ask, really. And then we have this here, 30 feet, and 30 feet, and 30 feet. Okay, right. So they see a passage stretch ahead. And what does this mean at the end when they get to the end of the passage? Well, first of all, that's going to take, it takes, from memory, it takes to do 90 feet, it takes one turn. So that's going to take 3 turns to do that. 3 rounds to map that. So I'll get that. So we have 3 rounds to map that. They get to the end of this. They proceed cautiously with their remember they're probing with their 10-foot pole, and they've got their swords and and Lindris is looking at the walls and that. It's very careful stuff, methodical stuff. That's why it's taking so long to do this. We get a periodic check. So I get my original thing out, and what periodic checks, we were up to 8. So we have a periodic check here. Yeah, so let's roll our periodic check table. Again, it's a d20. We get a 19. Oh no! Oh, it's a trick or trap. Passage continues. Check again in 30 feet. Oh, it's a trick or trap. But we remember, I did say we were proceeding very, very carefully. I did say that before. So that is going to be a mitigating thing. And our marching order, remember, is Tristan and Lindris up front, and Dagobert just behind with the. So Tristan will be keen-eyed with looking out for traps and things, and Lindris is meticulously mapping each, almost like individual flagstone. So we are on the front foot when it comes to tricks and traps. All we have to do is try and work out. So it says see table 7. So once we've determined the trick or trap, it says the passage continues. Check again in 30 foot, this table. So at least we're going to get lots of periodic checks on this. So table 7. Let's see what horrible things horrible things the dungeon has in store for us. And it can go. So this could be like quite a calamitous ending to this party, or you never know. I think we just have to run with it. It has to happen. These things. You just got to kind of go with it. So we'll do a D20 roll here, and we get a 12. So what does a 12 mean for us? A 12. Wall 10 foot behind, slides across passage, blocking it for 40 to 60 turns. All right. Okay, right. So it's almost as if we walk past. Let's just envisage this. So at some stage along this passage, we're going to walk past the point, and it must trigger some sort of, like, maybe there's a depression. We depress the a flagstone, say, and we travel on another 10 feet, and then this wall comes behind us, and it closes for 40 to 60 turns. Wow. Oh my goodness. So right, let's have a think about what we're going to do. So best thing to do, I think, is to just do a little simple plan of where we are. Just get my post-it note. Take away this. So we've come down this passage. So this is the octagon room with the door. So that we've come through that door, and then we've moved down this passage. And in fact, I haven't even done that. We can bash this. You know, I'm forgetting loads and loads of stuff today, because what we should have done was, remember, check whether the characters could actually knock that door open. So I don't propose that I would just say, I think I'm going to rule in this case that let me see if we'll just do the roll just now, and hopefully it confirms the fact that they get through. Okay, yes. So Tristan manages to get the door. So apologies for that. I should be a bit more meticulous. And that's the thing with when you are playing this type of this game, and you're not 100%. I'm at this stage. I keep seeing on my phone loads and loads of messages that is happening between on a WhatsApp group that I'm not even part of, and they keep popping up. I'm trying to work out exactly how many minutes I've actually been talking, and I have to keep swiping it away. And I've been concentrating on that when I should be focused on this, but I am focused on this now. So I would say that characters are proceeding down here. We'll just use one of these, and when they pass a certain point, something will slide across. So I think before I even do the placement of this trap, I should determine what is on beyond this 30-foot passage. And in order to do that, I look at see what did it say? It said, trick or trap, passage continues, check again in 30 foot. So it will continue for another 30 feet. So I can map out another 30 feet on this. So we'll do that. We'll do another 30 feet. And at some stage in that initial 30 feet, we have got a trick or trap, which is this awful sliding door that will close. So I think what we need to determine is whether any of the characters notice this as they pass. And if we are on the assumption that the characters are being quite meticulous in their mapping, and they are checking for things as they progress, let's see if there's a skill. So find and remove traps. There's 20% chance of the thief. Yeah. So that's if you're specifically looking. So I would say that there is a reasonable chance that the party will be able to determine as they pass or come close to the mechanism that creates this, being able to detect it. But let's determine where it is first. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be in one of these. So let's find out where it is first. So it's almost immediate. So as they come through the door, they are probably going to be on peak alert and really kind of mapping out and being very careful. I think there's quite a good chance that they can actually detect that sliding door. The only thing that's maybe going to do, if they don't actually, they're going to actually have to try and disable the trap. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to proceed down here. And I think that's probably where I have a disarm thing with Tristan with his 20%, which isn't a very good chance. So this might actually rule out going down here, unless they can think of some alternative strategy. But I would say that there is a good chance of them detecting it first. So just pondering what that would be. Let's have a look at their attributes and see what would be relevant. So we know that Lindris and Tristan, they've got more acute senses to things like secret doors and whatever. This is a bit like a secret door, you could say. You know, the sliding. How is it actually described on the trick and trap? Let's just see. We'll really kind of be meticulous about this, because I want to have the correct type of... I don't want to be contrived and get the feeling that we are taking something that... It's obviously quite serious, this. And not taking it, giving it the due regard that it deserves. So wall 10 foot behind slides across passage, blocking it for 40 to 60 turns. Okay, so that's just saying like a wall. Right, I think it does sound as though it's quite similar maybe to a secret door. So I'd be minded to give the characters that kind of chance to detect it before they trigger it. Okay, but maybe on a slightly heightened level, because they are being quite meticulous in what they're doing, and a secret door is quite, you know, obviously, you know, the clues in the title, secret, is being hidden and disguised, whereas maybe this trap is just kind of, it's relying on kind of someone just walking down this corridor at March speed and just, you know, setting it off, and maybe not exploring it and kind of being quite meticulous. So I think I will do a ruling. I will do a +1 to the secret door check. So just getting back to our little diagram, the characters Lindris and Tristan move down here and start mapping, and Dagobert's got the he's got the lantern behind. It's giving quite, it's illuminating all this, so they can see quite clearly what's on the walls and whatever, and any of the flagstones. They have usually a 1. That's Lindris, that's Tristan, and that's Dagobert. Lindris and Tristan have a 1 to 2 and detecting secret doors, so I'll say it's a 1 to 3, and Dagobert's got a 1, so I'll make him a 1 to 2. So Lindris and Tristan have to roll a 1. They have a 50% chance of detecting this, and Dagobert was about 32 or something percent chance of doing that, 33%. So let's do the dice first. So we'll do Lindra's first, and he needs a 1 to 3 on a d6. So he doesn't detect it. Okay, so we've got a wee bit of jeopardy now. Does Tristan detect it? And he has a 1 to 3 on a d6. He does detect it. And also does Dagobert. Dagobert's behind, so I don't think he's probably going to have the chance to do that. And he's also maybe not actively deployed the same way that Tristan. And Tristan has got the thieves ability. He's got the training. So what Tristan has done is he's said, oh, hold on, I can see something. There's marks on the floor. It looks as though it's some sort of mechanism is generating something that moves across the floor, the entire floor. And then he starts to feel the wall, and he says, oh, well, actually this piece, these stones are part of almost like a piece of wall, thick wall, that kind of come out of the existing corridor wall. And I don't know, but there seemed to be some sort of ability for them to move. And he's kind of figuring it all out. So he has to do, to effectively disarm this, and this is where we'll go back to the player's handbook. To disarm this, he has to use his thieves skill. So let's go to this thing here. So finding and removing traps is accomplished in exactly the same manner as opening locks. Rolls for each function separately. A trap must be located before removal can be attempted. 1 try only per thief is allowed. Success deactivates the trap. So find and remove trap is 20%, and a half elf gets no bonuses. So he's only got a 20% chance of disarming this. Otherwise, they're going to have to say, "Oh, this is going to be something that we can't really tackle just now. We can't risk going any further and maybe setting off this thing." So let's do a 20%, and I got some percentage dice as well for my birthday too, which is nice. Just make sure I've got the right dice here. Is that a D10? Yep. So 20%, Tristan does the business and gets it deactivated. 63, so he doesn't. So there is a trap. I'll put a wee T here that remains active. So it's this is a dangerous room. This corridor extends. We don't have enough. In fact, the light from our lantern will only go about 30 feet. So we can't really see. Or is it 40 feet? Let's have a quick check. So this could be quite important. Just to see how far we can see on this lantern. 30 feet, yeah. So, and also I would say that this has taken a quite considerable amount of time to do this. That is probably, I think disarm traps takes about a round. So let's go for a couple of rounds to do that. So if I get my piece of paper, that gets us up to 5 plus 2 is 5. So I would say that the characters pause and say, okay, I think what we're going to have to do here is just retrace our steps. I think that's a lucky escape. Well done, Tristan. I think if we had ended up going through that, who knows what would have happened. We could have been trapped here for a long time. When you think of it, they don't really know what's going to happen. They might have to kind of just continue wandering around, hoping maybe for another sinkhole that conveniently comes down and joins them. Okay. So that was rather sobering, because I suppose they were quite bullish, the characters coming back to the dungeon, and they were feeling quite, and that's where this system can really kind of knock you back down to ground again, and it's quite good actually in kind of keeping you grounded and keeping you sensible, And it's I was quite happy that I was quite insistent on the characters before they got through that door, or as they were going through that door. Someone I said they were meticulously mapping out that. So I think it's justified in saying that that was a very, and you can hear, almost can hear my voice kind of quavering a bit, because I was feeling quite anxious for them there, because if they had failed, you know, Lindra's failed his role, and Tristan got his, but say they had to rely on Dagobert, who only had a third of a chance, they could be ended up being locked away in the dungeon, and no one would know, apart from that lonely gatekeeper at the on the Marchton Gate. Okay, so the characters, they retrace their steps. They get back in there and they kind of have a communal sigh of relief, and they think, all right, okay, well, at least we know there's a trap there, and we're going to have to revisit it. Yeah. Okay. Strategy 2. Shall we try one of these other doors and see whether we can have a bit more success? Or we do get the feeling that this side of the dungeon is causing us a lot of problems, isn't it? Although saying that, you know, the Sturges are still around on this side. Yeah, there's always plan C or something, which is basically to go back and take our silver pieces out, or start to transport our silver pieces out. And I think that would be quite a job, because we've got 3,000 silver pieces. We've still got the glands, but to be quite honest, I don't know if there's going to be a market. We could always maybe go to Thidabert's Emporium with the glands and say, look, can you do something for us for these? He might give us like maybe 10, 50 gold pieces or something. Maybe 10 gold pieces a gland. You know, that's 90 gold pieces. That's quite a reasonable, you know, tidy sum. And go towards some maintenance for another month. Okay, I think what we'll do is we'll try one more door and see whether we have any success. So they regroup. Dagobert says, right, we're going to try this door on the right. Tristan, why don't you seem to be having your spider senses going, as opposed to the rest of us. Why don't you see if you can hear anything with your half-elven ears? And he goes, right, Dagobert, I'm going to give this a shot. Let's see if I get a 1 in 12. Nope, he doesn't hear a thing. He probably does. It's like he doesn't even get his helmet off. He's got earwax or something with a 12. Okay, so I think what we need to do is be on the door. So that's what we are going to do. So we'll get our good old appendix A out and roll our d20. And we get a 3. So beyond the door is a parallel passage or a 10 by 10 foot room if door is straight ahead. Now the door wasn't straight ahead. Parallel passage. Extends 30 foot in both directions. So that's not going to work, is it? So I think we're forced into a 10 by 10 room, which was a bit, you remember when we discovered this octagonal room, and I was being quite flippant, I think, remember talking about, you know, these being like cupboards and, you know, what are our entrance into Narnia. I think they are actually going to turn into like 10-foot rooms that we just have to have. You know, that might be the same, because we can't have like a parallel passage going down there. So I'm going to do a 10 by 10 room. And you know what happens with rooms, you do a contents check. So we'll do a little 10 by 10 room. Go to the edge of that. And with rooms, we will do a number of exits first. So we'll roll a d20 for that. And we get an 11. Our favourite, there's check once for 10 foot for secret doors. So we can come back and check for secret doors. However, we do have a chamber or room contents roll. So this is what we've all been waiting for, just to see whether there is something in here. In this 10-foot room, what is there? Maybe it's a jump scare. Maybe it could be a terrible monster. We get a 9. It's empty. Right. Okay. Panic over. But we can check for secret doors. So Linda said, right, okay, let me map this first and see whether I can get a sense, like a little tingly sense. And they both have this, the 1 and 6. So we'll do Lindris and Tristan, and there's a 1 and 6. So they don't get the little tingly things, so they're going to have to do some proper searching. So that takes just get my DM's guide out of the way. That will take, to map that 10 by 10, that's normally going to take about a round. So I would say 6. So we're up to 6. And also, yeah, I think we can actually start doing the secret door checks now. So what we'll do is we'll have, this takes a round to do each one. We'll have Lindris and Tristan. So we'll have Lindris there and Tristan there. So Lindris needs a 1 to 2. He does. He finds, oh dear, he finds the secret door here. Okay. Right. I think I'm doing this wrong actually, because yeah. What was it that we were doing? Let's just have a quick check, because yeah, I'm forgetting. I must have left my brain in holiday mode, because what does it say? It's a 1 to 5, isn't it, on a D20? So let's check first for secret doors. I'm jumping ahead as usual. I'm going to look back over this video and I'm going to see all the mistakes I've got. I'm going to go. So a 1 to 5 this wall. No. 1 to 5 this wall. Yes. Secret door. And a 1 to 5 this wall. Ah, another one. 2 secret doors to discover. So Lindris is going to check that, and Tristan is going to check that. So Lindris won't do anything because there's nothing, but Tristan has a 1 to 2 chance of finding something. He finds this secret door. He says, "Hey, look what I found." You know, we're hitting the rich seam of secret doors again. Yeah, I found one. What are we going to do? So Dagobert says, "Okay, I think what we need to do is just to try and see whether you can work out the mechanism, and we'll open it and see what's on the other side." They say, "Yeah, that's a good idea, Dagobert. What we need to do is just do a quick tally. It takes about a round, so we're up to 7, and a turn to work out the mechanism." Okay, so we can check what's beyond the door on this. I was a bit sad about that one, because if you remember, because we could have done another periodic check, and we could have been up to, get up the numbers now. So beyond the door, D20 is a 5. Passage straight ahead. Okay. Right. So we're probably going to have to write that slightly, and I would say it's parallel to that. So it's going to go 30 feet straight ahead. I'm not going to check for unusual size because I don't think, as a passage, it's not going to be bigger than the room. So I'll do a ruling that there's a 30 foot. and it just goes like that. It goes in the same kind of direction as that one. So I'll do 30. So this is where Lindras's mapping skills. Well, you know, give the poor elf a break. He's it's quite a difficult thing to map this, isn't it? When you've got all this, you know, all these lovely square and regular shapes. It was great, and he was getting everything lined up. But here it's gone all kind of chaotic, and you know, Lindra's saying, "Go on, give us a break." You know, I'm trying my best here. So that is a 30-foot passage, and what we do is we'll do a periodic check at the end of that. So they go, right, okay, we're going to have to map this out, so remember, take care. We've been caught out in passages before, so that will take about another 3 turn. So we'll say we got up to 10 there. We'll wipe that out and we'll go a turn. So 4 turns we've been going so far. Get rid of that. Okay, we'll head up here. We're mapping away. Let's see what's at the end of that corridor. We can do a periodic check now. So if I just get back to my original inventory of periodic checks, I've got post-it notes stuck everywhere. We are up to, oh good, we're up to 10 periodic checks. So a d20, we get a 17. That sounds interesting. Stairs. Wow. Stairs. Wow. Now that is interesting. So table 6. Table 6. Well, these are all 5s. Table 6. Table 6 is here. So, roll on table 1 upon ascending, descending. So we do the periodic check. So these stairs, let's see what happens with these. And they can be also, oh my goodness, there's chimneys and dead ends. Oh, all right, and traps. Yeah. We were probably trying to keep it just a bit more sensible and grounded. So let's go for a low number here if we can. So we'll see what type of stairs we're talking about. That's an 11. Chimney up 1 level. Passage continues. Check again in 30. Ooh. Chimney up 1 level. Right, so let's have a look at that. So, we have, I would say, in this, say this little square here, let's do a little square, out of the way, we will have, this is like a chimney, this little square here, and I'll do this as a cross, like a cross like that. And we'll do little, to kind of give the idea that we're going down and up. So there's a chimney. I'll just write that down. And it goes up 1 level. So, now this is interesting because that suddenly turns, you know, we've got a bit more of a 3-dimensional configuration happening here. We've got the tower, so that effectively gets up to the tower's level, doesn't it? So maybe this is part of the overall, like the actual, because when we're thinking about this is more the catacombs of the palace. You know, the kind of the chambers, you know, the fact they're all secret doors and stuff. This is where Callistra was doing all of her experiments, and she can maintain, you know, maybe she had barracks and she had like humanoids working for her, all sorts of terrible things, and this is where it was all where they all stayed. However, life continued on the surface, and that's where the palace was. So this goes up to the palace. So maybe they're using this as some form of vent. Maybe this is part of the kind of for ensuring that air, the ventilation system, and this chimney is part of this ventilation system. It's not used maybe for heat or like you having a fire like a traditional chimney. It's actually part of the ventilation system to allow the place to breathe. A bit like what we've got over the Sturges, we've got those kind of vents coming through and they can get in and out. So this is going to go up 30 feet. Okay, I'm just checking the time now. Let's go up and do this one more periodic check, because what it says, and then I think I'll just stop it for just now and continue this in another video, because it gets to the point where it's more difficult to manage uploads to YouTube. Up one level, and upon ascending, descending, roll on table. Yeah, so it goes up one level. Passage continues, check again, 30. So it'll go on for another 30 here. So we can do that. 30. So the guys, Tristan takes responsibility for this because he's like the thief. He says, look, there's some form of ventilation shaft. And it goes up about 30 feet. I'm planning to just get up there and see what I can see. So he climbs up the side. We could do his little his check. He's got an 85% chance of being able to get up without mishap. So let's do that and see what he gets. He does it. He gets an 81 just. So he finds it quite a difficult climb. He says, look, this is a bit awkward getting up here. You're going to have to be careful. So I'll use my rope once I'm up. And then when he gets to the top, he says, oh, right, I can see. I've actually done 40 feet for some reason. I can see a 30-foot passage going along. And they say, all right, okay, we'll get us up first, and then what we'll do is we'll continue with the mapping. So he pulls them up, utilizing the rope. They don't have to do any kind of rolls or anything. And then we map out this. So that takes another 3 rounds to do that. And we do a periodic check at the end of this. So you can see I'm jumping from sheet to sheet. And let's see what this is. And then we'll do a periodic check, and maybe we just close off for just now and see what's happened and resolve it next time. So a periodic check, 16. Doesn't sound too clever, 16, does it? Chamber. Whew. So it's just going to go into, it's not going to be like a door or anything. We're going to go into a chamber. So the chamber size, let's roll. It is a 14. It is rectangular, 30 by 50. So we can't really do that. And we could maybe have it coming down here. I could do at tops, I could maybe do a 20 by, so 20 by 50. I could do a 20 by 50. Or we made that ruling to say that everything had to go kind of straight, like the rooms would all be, it'd only be the corridors that are an angle. So maybe let's do that here and say that 10 feet, part of that is that chimney. So we can do, yeah, we'll do it like this. We will do, we can do a maximum of 20, so we'll have 20 by 50, and we can say, does it appear 1 to 5? That's where it starts on that thing. So 3. So it's going to be there. So it's 1, 2, So that is going to be 2 on this side. No, sorry, 1 on this side. That's 1, and then 3 here. And this is, see, this is almost like a 10 foot. So we're going to have a chamber that is just very wide like this and skinny. So we'll just go for that just now. Okay. So we've got this chamber. And probably when I come to draw it again, I'll make it kind of right, just maybe sitting right on that edge thing. And we could come back and debate whether this is realistic and whether we could have some leeway about it. But I just got the feeling that it is, this artificial constraint does stop us kind of the dungeon rambling away, and just going off in all sorts of directions. It keeps it kind of on the page, literally. Number of exits, we'll roll a d20. We get a 1. It is up to 600. There's 1 exit. Exit location is a 3. Opposite wall, so it's going to be 1 to 5. So it's right there. So we've got an exit here, and it's because it's a chamber, it's going to be a passage. Right. What we're going to do is we're going to check look at the occupant, and then we'll continue with the next video. So let's find out what's in it. 7. It's empty. So after all that, it's empty. So that is now room 13. So we'll do our rooms down here. 13. It's 10 by 50 chamber, and it's empty, and it has a passage leading out. Okay, I think that's probably enough for just now. We've had a bit of a close run with the characters. We've had to deal with this which has made this passage untenable, this trap. For the time being, we are aware of it, and Tristan has an understanding that there's a sliding wall here, but he hasn't worked out the mechanism and how to disarm it. It's beyond his skill. So that's kind of, and then with their subsequent adventures, they found this going up to a higher level. So remember, this is on a higher level now. This is on the same level as the tower. So there is an interesting thing here. And where does this passage go? It's probably going to go into some sort of dead end. So maybe that is a cupboard. And maybe that's, when I'm saying that that's the end of the world type thing, this is the end of the world thing, can I really have a passage going in? Maybe I should have put the passage there. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to overrule that location and either put it there or probably more likely there. So I'll weight it to that in the next one. Yeah, that's what I'll do with that, and have a passage. So this is almost like a glorified corridor, really, that thing. And it's empty. Okay, right, to be continued, I think. It's a bit frustrating, this one, because we didn't really achieve very much, and all we did was having to do funny angled drawings. But we did have a bit of a scare here, and we've got a potential of a bit more adventure down this on a higher level. Okay, well, thanks for watching just now, and we'll continue this in our next installment.